I am back with a new review of pictures I have clipped from the past week. This is the first week of July, and I'm going to start with this group shot of people lining up their mountain bikes. You see some, in fact several of the classic ones. These are from the 70s, and there are also some modern, more modern bikes. None of this is new stuff, but the separable frames are more recent. At least they would have to be from the 80s. And I have details on some of these bikes. Here is one of them in racing green, which is not my favorite color. This is the older design that does not have a triangle in the back. And it has this weird suspension attachment that I don't see on most of the older frames. But it is in excellent condition. And you can get these frames even in condition like this for really not a lot of money. And in this case, you even have some cable routing inside the frame. So maybe this is one of the newer versions, but there's no triangle. I actually prefer to have no triangle because then I could do a belt drive upgrade, which would be very easy to do. Here is another one. Also, there is no triangle, but a lot of carriage capacity front and rear. You can get a frame like this for $200-300. I think it takes the same wheels as the Brompton. I'm not sure. I don't think you could cram much wider a tire into it as much as I would like to see that. And here is this couple with an old molten frame. It's not separable. You see that there's a triangle back here and a really nice rear carrier. I would like to see a front carrier as well. And some very meticulous cabling. These are really nice bikes, and they have been around for almost as long as I have been, which is amazing. And people still love them. This is one of the newer bikes that was lined up. This one has V-brakes, so it could easily take a wider rim and 2-inch wide tires even on the same rim. Not to mention that you could upgrade those V-brakes to hydraulic, which would really make a difference. I would upgrade at least the front. These frames are much more expensive to get, but you can get them used online for still a lot less money than a new bike. This is a remarkable, exceptional old frame that has been disassembled, two-tone painted, and the accessories, the parts completely upgraded, new cables and everything installed because of the aerodynamic wheels and just a lot of modern stuff on it. It really looks very modern, even though the frame is from way back, possibly the 70s. This is a weird Brompton. This is a T-line, and it has been completely repainted, unless Brompton sells this in Asia, which is unlikely. I think this is a custom paint job, and they have put a lot of money into this bike. I'm not a fan of this. And this teeny tiny pseudo saddle is making my loins ache just by looking at it. This is a better picture. It must be really, really uncomfortable to ride this bike. But somebody put a lot of money into it. I see custom brakes as well, a custom drivetrain. They painted this ugly block, or maybe obtained a colorful block for it. Probably it's a paint job, but they really should have upgraded it because that's a very significant change if you upgrade it like I have done it. The fold is the same as usual. It's very compact, and he has a straight racing bar with colored or color matched brake levers and very nice cabling with some color coding as well. It looks like the derailleur is an H&H. I see the H&H logo. This is it. And very nice colors everywhere. Not bad. I like the colors on this bike, the colors on the rim, how they harmonize with the whole bike. I'm not crazy about that custom looking carriage in the rear, that luggage carrier, which I don't think is original. And the original would have been a whole lot better. This is a fun guy, and I don't know what the recumbent bike is. I imagine it could be an HP. It looks like an HP, but with a custom seat, and of course heavily customized setup for very, very long journeys. And this is an excellent picture. It must have been very hard to accomplish it, to set it up with an easel or tripod and to jump up just in time. This is the same guy, but apparently he's able to remove the sunroof and maybe fold it away somewhere. I have no information as to how he had done it. He has a trailer with only one wheel on it, and he seems to be very happy. I don't know what the location is though. Here is another very happy picture of the same man, and he's got the sunroof up, some text that says every day is Earth Day, let's treat it that way. So he's an environmental guy, which is good. The tire looks like a 2-inch wide tire. I'm not sure what this is. Is this a Big Apple? Not sure what it is. Now this old molten frame really baffles me because I don't see how you could fit such wide 2 or 2.5-inch tires into the original extremities. But when you look at it, it looks like the extremities are the original ones. They have the same beaten up appearance of the rest of the frame. So would it be possible to get one of these old frames and put like really wide tires into it? I don't know how this was accomplished. This part needs some rust converter. I think it still can be saved. This looks like a very cheap beginning, but very promising. This picture is from Belgium, and this is just a stock Brompton, not the bike I would travel with if it's an international trip, although who knows. The Brompton is an easy one to fly with, and he put all the weight in the front, which is the right way to go. That's where most of your luggage should go, because most of your body weight is in the rear. And the location is in Belgium, which used to be a part of Flanders. So you get this nice old Flemish architecture. And here is another shot with him on the North Sea, which appears to be really calm and nice blue, almost like as if you were in the tropic, but is definitely not in the tropics. And this is the same bike at one of the typical canals that run all over not just the Netherlands but the whole area. This is a Far Eastern Brompton gang. They seem to all have the classic steel frames, which is really attractive in this case. It's just a nice photo with a lot of contrast. And I notice how everybody has a different handlebar. Mine is sort of like a little bit like the guy second from the right. I have a little bit of a rise in it. This would be a straight racing bar. This is the most comfortable of them with the most rise, and this is like almost race bar but has a little bit of comfort aspect to it. Here is an interesting G-line project. I don't know if this is an H&H dual chain wheel, but it is a dual chain wheel just like the one I recently installed. And notice that there is a Shimano shifter which has also been successfully installed, even though it was not designed for the G-line. The G-line can benefit as much as any of the other Bromptons from a dual chain wheel setup, and he was able to get the derailleur onto the G-line frame pretty nicely. This is what the Shimano shifter looks like on the handlebar. It's not very attractive, but it works, and it seems to have just 2 levels, high and low. That's it. This is the G-line with the dual chain ring folded. It seems that the fold works okay, although it looks rather busy in the center. For what the G-line is doing, you really should have a wider gear range, and this is something the Brompton company should have provided, but I guess it's going to take another 3 or 4 decades. I had to clip this one. I disagree with it, but I had to clip this one because to put this massive luggage in the back, he's not even going to be able to pedal, because the pedal itself, not even the shoes, but probably the pedal itself is going to hit this bag. This is a big problem with the Brompton. And look at this massive metal reinforcement that he installed to make sure he can carry I don't know how many pounds. This looks like a 50-pound bag. This is a massive luggage to put on a Brompton bike. I would have just used a trailer, really. And he has an electric hub in the front. Again, the G-line is not recommended. It is not a handsome bike. But these bikes have so many upgrades, such classy and sexy rims that they actually do kind of look appetizing. Lots of details on these bikes, even the screws, teeny tiny details everywhere. This is the rear view. I don't know if it has a stop lamp feature on the tail light. Probably it does. And you can see that everything has been upgraded. I see a very interesting suspension block upgrade. I don't know what this is, but I do like the colors. The pedals are really nice too. This is actually a still shot from a video. This was an incident that happened very recently. Somebody bought one of these bikes from Amazon, and they are really appetizing because they can be as cheap as $600-700. In fact, I have seen a sale from Electric for $300 for brand new e-bikes with 750 watt hubs in many cases. But this is what can happen. Somebody was riding this bike and it suddenly exploded and the battery caught fire. The rider was able to jump off and to film it. And this footage you can actually download from the internet. It's just a warning. In general, I'm not crazy about the Brompton electric bikes, but they do come with well-built, secure, and guaranteed German batteries for a lot of money, yes, but this is not going to happen to you. Another thing you can do is, probably this bike would have blown up anyway, but at least to avoid a fire at home, make sure that when you're at home storing the bike, the battery is less than half full. In fact, 15-20% is fine. You don't want an empty battery because that's gonna start harming the cells and will only increase the chance of an incident. But you can reduce it to 15-20% and only inflate the morning before you leave for a ride. A charming, very clean Alex Moulton project. I do like the mud guards. They are not the cheap plastic kind. They go with the rest of the bike. Look at the detail on the steering column. This is only for Moulton. This level of detail with all the polished metal and great paint job is just beautiful all around. And here is another dual chainring with a Shimano derailleur. This is definitely not an H&H. I believe Moulton does sell some of their models with the dual chainring already installed, but this might be an upgrade. And you can kind of see the beautiful paint job, this Ferrari red. I would love to have it. This is a shot of the mud guards. Unfortunately, there is no space to fit a bigger tire in. Maybe you could go up to a 1.5 width, but definitely nothing beyond that. So this is kind of like a racing tire setup. It would not be the Moulton that I would buy, but it is a beautiful bike either way. It's worth reading the text here. This was something that somebody posted online about this World War I era scooter that a woman was riding. Even back then, they had these stand-up scooters. I mean, it's been over a century now. And the basics are the same. In fact, this is the kind of gasoline engine that you can buy for a few bucks on Amazon, but it's just mounted on the front wheel. And this is a gasoline-powered stand-up scooter. The fundamentals have remained the same, except that today we have electric, we have ABS, we have suspension front and rear, in some cases even regenerative braking. So yeah, we have new ideas and upgrades to the same basic concept, but the concept fundamentally has remained the same for over a century. And yet people keep on driving cars for short distances in the middle of town, never mind what has happened in the last 120 years. And there are far more cars now in cities than there were back then. This one is a beautiful shot. I just had to clip it. The beauty of riding a bike. I'm not sure how much space this guy has, or if this is just a photo trick, or he's actually probably just a photo trick, because this is like he's riding on the beach. And there's an area on the beach where between the wet and the dry sand, you might be able to get by on skinny tires like this one. But usually it's a dicey thing to do. But a beautiful shot either way. And here is a massive Brompton gang. A lot of these bikes are the titanium, which is kind of surprising. I'm surprised at how well that model has been selling for Brompton, given how expensive it is and how much cheaper you can get a titanium trifold from China or Taiwan. A nice display. This is a Birdie Classic frame. This is the latest Birdie frame, which I really like. I liked all the rest of them. I used to own the second generation tubular frame. This is kind of along the same lines. it has that angular look that goes with the extremities of the bike. And the bike still does not have a triangle. I mean, it has a teeny tiny triangle in the back. It's really just a brace supporting what is not a triangle, but just a single piece dropout. So it should be easy to convert it to a belt drive. Unfortunately, Birdy is still not selling a belt drive with any of their bikes, probably for performance reasons for the most part. But it's a really attractive bike. Most Birdy gangs still do not have that new design. This is the monocoque design. It's still an attractive design, although not as cool looking as the new one, or even as the classic Birdy, which you see here. There's this one guy here with the silver Birdy Classic, the same design I used to ride. I rode it for 12 years and sold it with all the parts original except for the brake pad, still working. Here is one of the Riese und Müller founders. I believe this is Riese, and he's signing one of their frames, the brand new frame. I'm glad they are paying attention to the Birdy because it's such a beautiful classic design. They keep on upgrading it, even though they, for the most part, focus on the e-bikes and big wheel bikes. But it's nice to see that they keep on upgrading the folding bike as well. The Birdy frames are made in Taiwan by Pacific, and in the case of US models, the entire bike building is done in Taiwan as well. So on the left side, you see the Taiwanese president or leader, and they have been building these Birdies for 45 years. Isn't that amazing? And here is the Birdy I used to own as a model in the center. I believe you could buy those little models from the Far East as well, just like you can buy them as a promo product from Brompton. This is an absolutely lovely Alex Moulton project. I should point out that, look, they installed a roll-off hub on it. It needs an adapter because you cannot just put it into a classic Alex Moulton frame. But they have done whatever they had to do. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And another thing they have done, which I fully support, is to use a hydraulic rim brake upgrade rather than trying to install a disc, which would not work. The rim brakes that are hydraulic, German made by Magura, are very cheap. You can get one for $100 or $120. They are much cheaper than a disc brake and can be installed in place of a mechanical V-brake. No modification is required. So you don't need to build a frame for disc brake to use them. That's why I think people should go with that. I have test ridden both the disc and the V-brake, and I can tell you, yes, the hydraulic disc is even more powerful, but the hydraulic grip brake is still way beyond what you would get from a mechanical V-brake. So I think that's the way to go. And of course, the wooden mudguards are also excellent. They are very clean. There's nothing getting trapped in there. If you see anything, you can just reach in with a hex key or a chopstick, and very easily you can clean it out. Unlike with the kind of mudguards everybody is using that has a side lip, so everything gets stuck. And every time I ride outside, there is something that's stuck in there. This is a close-up of the same bike. You can see the roll-off hub, the two cables connected on the left side. I guess roll-off is connecting the cables on the left because there are two cables, so it would probably be too busy to put it on the right side. And you can see the Magura grip brake working here. And this very nice genuine wood mudguard. This is the front with the same kind of mudguard with the same Magura V-brake upgrade that is hydraulic. And that's the way it should be. This is one of those Far Eastern stores. I don't know if this is Japan or Taiwan or Korea, but a really nice store where they sell the kind of high-end stuff I recommend and promote on this channel. It's very hard to find a store like this in the US. I can't think of anyone. Maybe Beefold was the closest, but it never was as clean or as well as this bike shop. It is a very neat store, and you do see these stores when you travel in the East. Even when I was in the Siam last year in Bangkok, there is just so much more respect paid for high-end bicycles by people. Probably because the cars are often too much of a headache in cities as overpopulated as theirs. This is it for the current video. I hope some of your projects are going to be posted online so I can feature them here. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. I am happy to announce an update to my shopping page. I have removed a lot of this stuff because all of the Amazon links that I have are now over on my Amazon front page. I am providing a link below. This is my book. This is all of the other stuff I recommend. And I have some t-shirts and hoodies as well. These are my own designs. And you can select them right down here. A separate link for the t-shirts, separate link for the hoodies. You can even get to Brompton and Zooter and some of the other things that you can buy from Amazon. And as well as a lot of accessories that I recommend, the grips I recommend, the brakes, the helmets, the tires, the winter stuff, the saddle, the tools, everything I believe in that Amazon has. Now Amazon doesn't have everything, so some of the stuff I have left in my original shopping page that's still at the same URL. You can check out these companies. I am not actually making any money on these links, but I think it's important for you to have access to these technologies. And these are the bikes I recommend. If you ever wonder what the full list of my recommendations are, this is the full list. Check it out. And of course, this is my book and a link to the Amazon storefront. This is it for now, and
I'll be back.